Hey everyone, welcome to Everyday Enlightenment at 11:11. It's Claritha, and we do this every Tuesday. So I just wanted to share a bit with you about how my spiritual journey unfolded in service to people who might be having that experience now, or have some have some questions, or people who are wanting that and just want to have a little bit better understanding about like how it can look like, because let's be honest, it looks different for everybody. But I just wanted to share my experience today. So just to give you a little bit of background, I've always been able to trust my gut pretty well. And, when I was little and probably through my 20s, I very much based a lot of my decisions and my actions on how I was feeling. Probably much to the chagrin of my parents at the time. But I was I've always sort of been very empathic. I've always been very good about figuring out how things feel or how things are going to feel. So that being said, my spiritual journey really started in the fall of 2015. So not quite 6 years ago yet. But it all started, it got like kicked off to another level when my cute little kitty, my little Wigs, my little whiskey girl, she died quite suddenly. And, anytime you lose somebody like a pet or, somebody that's close to you, it sucks. It just sucks. There's no way around it. But after she was gone, I could feel her so strongly. I could feel her energy still so strongly in my home. And I could even feel her energy when, like, in habits that she used to do. Like, she used to jump up on the bed and, go to a certain spot on the bed to sleep at night. And so I could feel that. And at places that she would spend a lot of time, I could sort of see like an imprint of her energy still there. It was really wild, but I could feel it so strongly. And so I was like, I don't quite understand what's happening, but I am interested and curious enough to start to seek out more information and to start to understand it for myself. And so I really just wanted to learn more. And so I started just really simply, I just started to sit quietly by myself, for like 15 minutes, a few times a week, trying to meditate, right? Don't have to try so much, just let it go. But I started to just feel into the energy around me. And, so I committed to like a regular meditation practice and kind of carving out a sacred space in my home for me to sit and be quiet. And then I started to look for teachers and people who were talking about, the larger things, and to get away from like all the distraction that like we have to deal with every day. I started to seek out teachers who were talking about things like soul and spirit and all the metaphysical things. And what I started to do was to gather information, but it wasn't like in a cerebral way. It wasn't gathering information in a cerebral way. It was more about expansion and building up the knowingness and having like a deeper resonance with who I really was. And so it all felt very organic. It all felt very beautiful. And one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And I found a teacher that I really resonated with, that I was going to, we invest in like our business, we invest in our, relationships. And I was like, I'm going to invest in my spirituality. So I started working with a teacher, Margarita Alcantara. And it just felt, I was like, oh my God, this is what I'm so, like, it just felt so good. Like things were clicking and I was like, yes, yes, yes. Okay. And she ended up having a retreat to Mount Shasta, which Mount Shasta is in California. And it's, for a lot of people, it's considered like the root chakra of the world. So very powerful place, very high vibe place on the planet. And so I went on a retreat with her and some other beautiful women, and it was so great. And at one point on the trip, like we were at this like sacred stream, this very high vibrational stream that had like a kind of like a sweat lodge sauna attached to it. and we're going to spend a couple hours there. So the idea was to go into, like, everybody had their own little room with a bathtub full, like, just of continuous, like, spring water that they could sit in. And then you would go into sort of like the sweat lodge, and then you take a dip in the river, and then you do that circuit again. So the first time I got into my bathtub, sitting there, closing my eyes, just relaxing, and with my eyes closed, I start to see this sort of like circular spiral, like in my third eye, very vividly. And I'm like, whoa, okay. It was extremely vivid. And I opened my eyes, and, you know, it kind of disappeared. I closed my eyes, it reappeared. And so I spent a couple moments in the bathtub, and after that I was like, all right, I think I'm ready to like move to the sauna. And it's very dark in there. You know, I'm just in my swimsuit. So I lay down on the wood planks, I close my eyes, and what I start to see with my eyes closed are the faces of Native American peoples that lived on that land. And I opened my eyes, you know, disappeared. I was like, whoa. And so I closed my eyes, it happened again. So I'm in there for a few minutes. I go out to the spring, into the river, take a dip really quick because it was cold, and I was like, no. Go back in my bathtub and close my eyes again. I see the same spiral thing. It starts to open, and then I start to see like this Pegasus that sort of flies out of there. I'm not expecting that. And I'm like, what is in this water? Which was nothing but like high vibrational, you know, energy. Open my eyes, it's gone. Close my eyes, there's the portal with the Pegasus. I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy. I'd never seen anything so vivid before. And so I'm in there for a few minutes, trying not to freak out. And then I go into the sauna sweat lodge area, lay down on the wooden planks again. Again, the Native American faces I'm seeing, one after the other. And it didn't feel scary or anything. It just felt very matter of fact and just easy, if that makes sense. So I went out to dip in the river again, and I passed Margarita, the lady leading the retreat, and I tell her what's happening, and she's just like, oh yeah, that's very high vibrational. Good for you. Kind of pats me on the shoulder and just like continues to walk back to her bathtub. And it was like I told her, like, oh, I just saw like a butterfly or something. It was like not a big deal. She's just like so used to that stuff, right? But for me, I was like all excited and giddy. And so anyway, we complete our time there, and it was great. It was like the first time something like that had happened to me with that much clarity and that much ease. So it felt kind of amazing. And, you know, I talked to other women that I was there with, and it was, some of the other ladies had similar experiences and things like that, seeing things in the sky, and, you know, it was just so great. And there were a bunch of dragonflies around. It was a very magical time. And, it was a beautiful experience to have in a beautiful sacred space with other amazing women and people who didn't think it was weird. So, you know, I was like, these are my people. This is so great. And so I come back to Chicago feeling much more cracked open energetically. And what in the coming like weeks and things, I noticed the biggest change was in the energy work that I was doing with people, which I had been doing Reiki before this. But after that experience, Reiki was just like another level. And I was just getting so much more information with clarity, and which really benefited the people that were receiving the Reiki. And just the way I was experiencing the energy was different. And so, you know, since then, it's been like a continuous unfolding of like multi-dimensional things. And the one thing that I think is also great is that my discernment, AKA my bullshit meter, has become much more fine-tuned because of, you know, energy doesn't lie. Energy can't lie. And so it's really a gift to be able to understand it and read it and feel it better, because, you know, it just makes life easier. And, you know, it's just such a beautiful thing to have. So I'm sharing this with you for like 4 reasons, really. I'm sharing my story with you for 4 reasons. And the first one is the reminder to be gentle to yourself. You know, real change and real soul growth and this lovely, beautiful sort of organic expansion of you often happens like incrementally. Like there are things that can like bump it up a little bit, but when things happen incrementally, little by little, it's the easiest way for you to sort of assimilate the energy in a way that's for your highest alignment. So know that your higher self and your guides are always working on your behalf, so you experience things with your highest alignment, because that's what we want, and that's kind of the plan you had before you dropped it. Number 2 is to be curious and allow yourself to seek answers and to follow the path of like your greatest excitement. What excites you next to like find out answers to, or to seek answers to, or to talk to somebody, or to like experience like that. Those are like the breadcrumbs that are like leading you forward. So, you have to be an active participant in your own evolution, because nobody's going to do it for you. It's not the way it's set up, unfortunately. You can have help and support, but like you have to do the work. That's totally honest. Number 3 is to have an energetic practice or some sort of sacred ritual that you do for yourself. And it can be a small one that you do every day, because that is what is going to like keep your energy clear and to help you discern the things that are for you and the things that are not for you. Okay. And then, which leads me to, reason number 4, which is Reiki is a great way to start understanding energy in a different way. At least the way I teach it, it is, because there's a lot of other things that you're going to learn besides Reiki, but it all is in service to energetic alignment. And as you tap into the energy that moves through you and like around you, you get to sort of like pop yourself into another understanding of your multidimensional self, and that knowledge can serve you in a lot of different ways in your life. And most importantly, to heal yourself, self-soothe, and to raise your energetic vibration, because that everything happens from the inside out, right? So that's kind of like, it's a baseline. I'm just gonna say it's a baseline of skills, energetic skills that everybody should have at this point. If everybody had these skills, the world would be an easier place to be right now. No, I think that's just like fact. So, because how we be with ourselves influences the other people that are around us energetically. And then it's just kind of like a ripple effect, like a ripple in the pond. So, we have a responsibility to ourselves first, but we also have a responsibility to the collective and what we want to see in the world. So on that note, I'm teaching a Reiki class in a week and a half. There is a Reiki class, Reiki level 1 class I'm teaching on Sunday, April 11th. So if that is something that interests you, I invite you to join me. There are limited spots because there's only so many attunements I can do, at once. But Reiki level 1 is all about self-healing. And so, whether you want to use the skills that you learn for yourself, which I hope you will, you can use them on your family, your pets, your plants, your water, the ground that you walk on, your crystals, like all the things. It's really just, like that foundational skill set. And then Reiki level 2 is about being a Reiki practitioner. So that's when you can charge for the work that you're doing. And I am offering a Reiki 2 class in May, but you have to have Reiki 1 before Reiki 2. As my husband says, you have to learn how to dance before you can disco, I think is the line. So anyway, if you're interested in that, there's a link in my bio if you're watching this on Instagram. There's a link in the comments if you're watching this on Facebook or on YouTube. Message me if you have any questions. Happy to help, because this work is just so important, especially for what we are getting into for what it feels like over the next couple months. So I hope this was helpful. I would love to hear how your journey has sort of unfolded for you if you are on the spiritual awakening path, whether you've, been in it for a while, or if you are just, if it's just starting to happen for you. So it's always interesting to hear other people's experience, because it serves other people as we share, right? So I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions about Reiki classes, and have a beautiful week.